David Carradine walks onto the Golden Globe stage for the first time in 20 years. The host just introduced him as the man whose career was dead. 500 Hollywood stars are watching. What he says in the next 90 seconds does not defend his legacy. It redefines what it means to disappear and come back. Beverly Hills, California, January 25, 2004. Sunday evening, 8:47 p.m. The Beverly Hilton Hotel, International Ballroom, the 61st Annual Golden Globe Awards. The room glitters with diamonds and desperation. 500 of the most powerful people in entertainment packed into a ballroom designed to make everyone feel important. Crystal chandeliers casting fractured light across designer gowns. Tuxedos worth more than most people's cars. The smell of expensive perfume and ambition thick in the air. Round tables fill the floor, 10 people per table. Careful seating arrangements designed to create maximum publicity. Who sits next to whom matters. Who is seen talking to whom matters more. This is not just an awards show. This is a battlefield where careers are made and destroyed between courses. The nominees sit at front tables. The almost famous sit in the middle. The forgotten sit in the back near the kitchen doors where waiters slip in and out with champagne. David Carradine sits at table 47, middle of the room. Not front, not back. The table reserved for people Hollywood is not sure about yet. People who might matter again, or might not. People who are being watched to see which way the wind blows. He is 67 years old. Silver hair pulled back. Black tuxedo. Simple. No flash. The same quiet presence he has carried for 50 years. The same stillness that made him Kane. The same calm that hides everything churning beneath. Kill Bill Volume 1 came out 3 months ago. After 20 years of B-movies and straight-to-video releases. After 2 decades of being the answer to trivia questions. Whatever happened to the Kung Fu guy? After watching his contemporaries win Oscars while he filmed in Romania for craft services money. Quentin Tarantino resurrected him. Cast him as Bill, the villain you never see until the end. The voice on the phone. The legend built through absence. 4 months of filming in Beijing and Los Angeles. Working with Uma Thurman. Working with a real budget for the first time since 1976. And now this, a Golden Globe nomination, Best Supporting Actor, his first major nomination in 23 years. The industry that forgot him is suddenly remembering, but David knows how this works. He has been in Hollywood long enough to understand the machinery. Tonight, he is a novelty, the comeback story. The feel-good narrative. Next year he could be forgotten again. The machinery chews people up and spits them out. It does not care about talent or legacy, only momentum. The awards proceed. Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Best Screenplay. Speeches blur together. Thank you to the Academy. Thank you to my team. Thank you to my family. The same words recycled through different mouths. David watches, drinks water, does not touch the champagne, stays sharp. He learned long ago that alcohol and Hollywood events do not mix. Too many ways to say the wrong thing. Too many cameras waiting for a mistake. His category is coming up soon. Best Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture. He is nominated alongside Tim Robbins, Alec Baldwin, Ken Watanabe, Peter Sarsgaard. Real actors, respected actors, actors who never disappeared into the B-movie wasteland. He does not expect to win, does not need to win. The nomination is enough, proof that he was not crazy to keep going, proof that 20 years of grinding was not wasted, proof that sometimes the dead come back. Then something unexpected happens. The host walks to the podium, checks his notes, looks up at the audience with that practiced television smile. Ladies and gentlemen, before we announce our next award, I have been asked to introduce a special presenter, someone many of you remember from the 1970s, someone whose career was considered finished for 2 decades, someone who Quentin Tarantino describes as the only actor who could play Bill. The audience murmurs, heads turn, people checking their programs. Who is presenting? Please welcome back to the Golden Globe stage for the first time since 1981, David Carradine. Applause. Polite at first, the kind you give to names you vaguely recognize, then building, people remembering. Kung Fu, the wandering monk. Thursday nights in the 70s, when 28 million people watched a half-Chinese Shaolin master walk through the American West. David stands, buttons his jacket, walks toward the stage. The distance from table 47 to the podium is maybe 50 feet. 30 seconds of walking. But for David, it feels like 20 years compressed into footsteps. Every step carrying the weight of everything that happened since the last time he stood on a stage like this. The straight-to-video movies shot in 3 weeks with no budget. The guest appearances on television, shows that got canceled after 1 season. The conventions where he signed autographs for $20 each just to pay rent. The marriages that failed because he was never home and never present even when he was home. The drinking he does not talk about. The darkness he does not name. All of it in those 50 feet. All of it in those 30 seconds. He reaches the podium, adjusts the microphone, looks out at the audience. 500 faces looking back. Some curious, some skeptical, some already looking at their phones. The attention span of Hollywood measured in seconds. He has maybe 90 of them before people start checking their watches. He does not start with thank you, does not start with a joke, does not start with any of the expected openings. He starts with silence, 5 seconds of just standing there, looking at the room, making eye contact with people who suddenly cannot look away. The power of stillness, the power Kane taught him 40 years ago. Then he speaks, his voice quiet, forcing people to lean in, to pay attention. 23 years ago, I stood on a stage very much like this one. I was young, I was famous, I thought I knew what success meant. He pauses. I was wrong. The room is quiet now. Phones lowered, attention focused. For the next 20 years, I disappeared. Not physically. I made movies, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. I lost count somewhere around 1994. But I disappeared from rooms like this, from conversations like these, from the industry that I thought defined me. He looks around slowly. Some of you remember me from before. The Kung Fu guy, Kane, the monk who walked through America teaching peace with his fists. I see some of your faces, and I remember when we were all young together, when we all thought this would last forever. A few older actors nod, recognizing themselves in his words. It does not last forever. Nothing does. The phone stops ringing. The scripts stop coming. The invitations disappear. And you find yourself wondering if any of it was real, if you were ever actually talented or just lucky, if the applause was for you or for the idea of you. His voice cracks slightly. He lets it. I spent 20 years asking those questions, 20 years watching from the outside, 20 years wondering if I would ever stand in a room like this again. He straightens, and then a man named Quentin Tarantino called me. He said he had a role that only I could play. I thought he was joking, or crazy, or both. I had been told so many times that my career was over that I believed it. I had accepted it. I had made peace with being a footnote. He looks toward a table near the front. Tarantino is there, watching, that intense focus he brings to everything. Quentin did not see a footnote. He saw a chapter that had not been written yet. He saw 20 years of disappearing, not as failure but as preparation. He said Bill had to be played by someone who understood what it meant to be forgotten, to be underestimated, to be written off. He pauses. He said I was perfect because I had lived it. The room is absolutely still. So here is what I want to say to everyone in this room. To the young actors who think this will last forever. To the older ones who think it is already over. To everyone who has ever been told their best days are behind them. He leans into the microphone. They are wrong. The words land like stones in still water. Your career is not dead until you decide it is. Your story is not over until you stop writing it. The 20 years I spent in the wilderness were not wasted. They were research. They were preparation for a role I did not know was coming. He looks around the room one more time. I am 67 years old. I just received my first Golden Globe nomination in over 2 decades. And I am standing here tonight not to tell you that persistence pays off. That is too simple, too clean. The truth is messier. His voice drops. The truth is that some of us disappear. Some of us get forgotten. Some of us spend years wondering if we made a terrible mistake choosing this life. And there are no guarantees, no promises that if you just keep going, it will all work out. He pauses. But I can tell you this. If you stop, you will never know. If you quit, you will always wonder. And wondering is worse than failing. Trust me, I have done both. He steps back from the microphone. I was asked to present an award tonight, but I think I have talked enough about myself. Let us celebrate someone else's persistence for a change. He pulls an envelope from his jacket. The nominees for Best Original Song are. He reads the nominees, opens the envelope, announces the winner. The ceremony continues. The machinery grinds forward, but something has shifted. People look at David differently as he walks back to his table, not as a novelty, not as a comeback story, as something else, a reminder, a warning, a possibility. At table 47, he sits down. A woman he does not recognize leans over from the next table. That was beautiful. Did you plan that speech? David shakes his head. I have been planning it for 20 years. I just did not know it until I started talking. 3 months later, Kill Bill Volume 2 is released. David's performance as Bill becomes legendary. The Superman monologue, the quiet menace, the vulnerability beneath the violence. Critics who ignored him for decades suddenly call him a genius. He does not win the Golden Globe that night. Tim Robbins takes it for Mystic River. But winning was never the point. The point was standing on that stage. The point was saying out loud what he had carried silently for 20 years. The point was proving to himself that the story was not over. David Carradine lived 5 more years after that night, made more movies, played more roles, never reached the heights of Kill Bill again, but never disappeared back into the wasteland either. When he died in 2009, the obituaries mentioned Kung Fu. They mentioned Kill Bill. They mentioned the Golden Globe speech. The 90 seconds when a forgotten actor reminded Hollywood that careers do not die. They just wait for the right moment to resurrect. He once said that the hardest role he ever played wasn't Kane, not Bill, but himself. A man caught between what he pretended to be and what he wanted to become. And maybe that is why his story still resonates, because we all know that feeling. The gap between the mask and the face beneath it. Is there a moment in your life where someone saw through your mask, or a moment where you finally took it off yourself? David Carradine walked through Hollywood for 50 years, carrying questions most people never ask out loud. About authenticity, about legacy, about what it means to be real in a world that rewards pretending. If you want to know the real stories, the ones they did not put in the interviews, you are in the right place. We are peeling back the curtain on the man behind the monk. If this story moved you, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these untold moments. Do not forget to subscribe to David Carradine, The Untold Path. We are just getting started. There are stories about Bruce Lee, about Tarantino, about the father who saved his life and the roles that almost destroyed it. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Leave a comment below. What is your favorite David Carradine role, and did you know he carried this much weight behind the calm? I will see you in the next video. Walk the path.